What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome back to your daily fantasy quickie. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another daily fantasy quickie. It's been 2 weeks since we last had an update, and today we decided to get back on track with the COVID situation here in the house a little more settled. So my wife is out of COVID protocols after pretty much 10 days. Similar to the NBA standard.
Yeah, similar to the NBA. I think Jeremy has added some white hairs. A lot of white hairs right now. Just to let you guys know, he's been doing everything in the house, in the office, and so that's why really there's no way we could record.
It's been crazy because some of the people have been asking when are we getting the quickie back. It's just that so my wife got COVID, and then in the office 2 of our employees also got, they got sick. We're not sure if it's COVID or not. So obviously, if they get sick, we didn't recommend them to come into work. So that means I have to do a bunch of stuff to replace all of these heads that were in isolation. So yeah, it was a bit crazy for the past couple of weeks.
Jeremy is a hands-on dad also. So he has 2 daughters that he has to teach.
Yep. So that
they're homeschooled, I think. So, and he's also the chef.
No, we have a cook, but
laundry guy.
We have to plan the menu for at least plan what to eat and all. That's the difficult part. I mean, the difficult part of thinking what to eat every meal is quite challenging as well. So definitely more appreciation to my wife who's doing a lot of these things as well. But yeah, we're back. We'll be back starting today. And lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of stuff we missed. Maybe, we'll kick off with the biggest one. Dame Lillard, I guess, is the biggest name in the news this week, with Dame opting to get surgery. Will be out at least 5 to 6 weeks. Of course, we kind of anticipated that there could be something like this that's going to happen.
Just to clarify, we're doing a recap also of the news that we were not able to tackle. So maybe you're saying that's not the biggest news anymore. But just to give you guys some rundown of what we think about the news that we failed to discuss. Dame Lillard, actually, the evaluation is 6 weeks. Yeah. So it was on week 13. Remember the All-Star break? That's 2 weeks combined into one. Yeah. So 6 weeks technically will be week 18 if you if you think about it. So if your playoffs start on week 20 maybe, or week 19 or 20, there's still time if he comes back. There is still chance. But as they said, it will depend on how Portland, is.
There's still a chance that you get him in 1 or 2 weeks in the playoffs, right? Yes. Because some of the, if you start on week 19, you get him on week 20, 21. If you start on week 20, then you probably have him for maybe 2-3 more weeks. Right?
And some leagues like our league start on week 21 to 23. Yeah. So then there's even more time in between that you can maybe have Dame. I'll just give what I think. I have Dame in one league. I was not able to trade him. At first, I was, I wanted to trade him for anybody. I had offers of Jalen Brunson, or maybe Monte Morris, something like that, and I was gonna take it already. But the manager hesitated and said maybe we'll do it next week because he wanted to use Monte this week, and then made me think that there's no point in trading Dame for players like those, because I could just get those players in the waiver wire, just trade them.
I mean, that it's actually a much more difficult situation to be in, because once these guys don't perform, you'll probably end up dropping them. Or maybe just put Dame in your injury IL slot, and then maybe just stream
Yeah.
the slot of Dame, and you'll get more better numbers than, especially if you're on a 14, 12 team, you get better numbers than any of the guys that were offered like Monte Morris or Jalen Brunson.
Maybe for me, I would take the Jalen Brunson, by the way. So maybe it's just, it depends on the player that they offer you. If it's really a really low end player like Monte without upside, I might not take it. But if there's someone with upside, yeah, maybe I will do the trade. So it depends. It depends on the player.
In actually, one of the league, in the Veterans League, I was offered Dame, and the manager wanted Chris Levert. This was before the news that came out. At that time, Levert, I think, was out.
Yeah.
I think was still in COVID protocol, and there was still no news about Dame. He was sitting out some games already, but there was no news that he was going to go through surgery yet. But yeah, it wasn't. Levert was kind of too high for me at that point. So it's not like Levert is waiver wire pickup. And it's not like Levert has been bad this year. He has picked it up lately. So yeah, I pass. Overall, I think I'll stay away from Lillard.
Yes. I agree.
I'll stay away unless they're just really. You stay away at one. Here's my thing: stay away, and at one point, if the manager really has some problems, he'll probably just drop them.
Drop him, yeah. And then maybe if you have an open IL spot, pick him up then. Jeremy mentioned Caris LeVert. I would take Caris LeVert. So those are the players that they're not superstars, but they're not waiver wire materials. Maybe I'll consider those. But the Montes and the lower ends, I'll just hold Lillard.
Yeah. And coinciding with this Lillard news is CJ McCollum about to return, close to returning. He should be returning anytime soon.
On Tuesday, Manila time. So first game of week 14.
Yeah, so a lot of players are set to come back. And I think we're past that health and safety COVID thing. I think right now it's safe to say we're kind of past that already. With a lot of players coming back, and most of the lineups are already back in somehow full rosters. There's just a few players here and there. So CJ is one of those players coming back. Of course, he will definitely be a beast heading into the final few weeks.
For the next 6 to 8 weeks, probably he should be having great numbers. Although remember, he's coming back from a collapsed lung, so we don't know if that
conditioning.
No, not just the conditioning. If that has any lingering effects on his, his game. So we have to see that. But someone that was our buy player and is now in the must roster list is Anthony Simons.
Yeah,
and McCollum should really be. McCollum should affect Simons a little bit, but I think Simons should be fine. But I recommended before that you could trade him before McCollum comes back, because his value will definitely never be as high as now.
Yeah, especially after today's game. Today's game, he had 27?
No, 31 points.
31 points.
11 assists. The assists, as I said before, when I recommend Simons as just an okay ad, it's because he doesn't do anything else than score. But without McCollum and without Lillard, he's been putting up the assist numbers. So he's shown that he can do that. Whether he can continue that with McCollum there or not, we don't know. So if you can trade him for trade him high, sell him high, I would do that.
Yeah. So McCollum, Anthony Simons, those players should be benefiting from the Damian Lillard injury. Another first round guy who is in danger of having the similar fate as Lillard is Paul George.
Yeah. Well, there's really no news here. When he got injured, we knew that he could be out for the season.
Yeah.
So I think it just means the news just means that there's more than a 50% chance he will not come back. So that's maybe what they did not tell us. before. So, but at least there's chance he comes back, right? For me, don't panic. Wait for the evaluation, which will come next week.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens then, and then decide.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's really not much. I mean, it's at a low. The worst case is he doesn't play anymore. So
Yeah.
I mean, even if you try to trade him now, you probably won't get anything, and that's a bigger risk. If you trade him and then they suddenly decide that, yeah, he's gonna come back, then you probably sell yourself too short at that point.
Well, actually, the time to trade him was the time he got injured, because it was vague. The report was vague whether he was coming back or not. But what I got from the report was there was a chance he was not coming back. So maybe some other managers did not get that from the report. For them, there's a chance he comes back. So right now everybody's clear that there's a chance he never comes back this season. So the value is really low. I don't know what you can get from him for him right now.
I haven't really seen any trades or offers for a Paul George, but who benefits here? We've seen Amir Coffey benefiting for the past few weeks now. Do you think he's the guy that should be owned? Because he's been seen as a streamer only. I think many people see him as a streamer, but it seems like he's overtaken players like Terrence Mann. I mean, those guys who initially we thought that somehow would benefit as well.
Terrence Mann is coming off the bench, but he's getting more minutes than Amir Coffey, or at least similar minutes. So maybe
they're time sharing.
He gets 30. Mann got 30 today, so that's not bad. I think that it's not about him overtaking Mann, but more of Mann may be better off the bench because they need scoring, so they need a player who can create off the bench.
What I also mean is that performance-wise, it seems like Coffey's performance has been catching more attention than Mann's performance.
Yes, because Coffey,
maybe because it's unexpected. No one expects him to play this way.
Mann is not a good fantasy player. Yeah, we remember his playoff performance, but he's basically just a shooter, a scorer. At times, he doesn't steal much. He doesn't assist. He gets he rebounds, but very very so numbers for Terrence Mann. Coffey has more upside, in my opinion. He can pass. He can score at times, and he has the defensive numbers also. We still don't know a lot about Coffey because he has not been given this many minutes in an extended period of time. So that's the intrigue there. That's why Coffey is the guy that I think should be the ad more than Mann. Yeah. But for me, whether Coffey will be a standard league guy, maybe not. I think he's a 14-team league guy, similar with Batum, who I think might have some value in the meantime. Because Luke Kennard is also out. So
and Luke Kennard could be back soon, closer than probably in the next few days or in the next week. Paul George. Who else are Jimmy Butler returned, so that's good news and looks good and finished the game. At least finished 2 games.
Yesterday, I did not start him in a Roto League because he was in the injured list. And I started Dennis Schroeder.
Today I started
1 point, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists yesterday. Now I dropped Schroeder and then activated Butler today.
Who had
and today,
1 out of
Butler
11.
was 1 out of 11. And then Dennis Schroeder had, I think, at 16 or whatever, 18, 6, 5. So it's crazy. But yeah, as long as he's playing, I'm fine. I'm happy with it.
As long as he stays on the court,
stays on the court.
That's what we want. No more, not finishing games. At least, the good thing is he finished both games. Jimmy Butler returned, but more casualties as well, and we'll probably know more about these players in the coming days. Zach Lavine got a scare with a knee injury, although the report said it's not a serious. He avoided serious injury. I think the MRI results said there are no damages there. So yeah, probably
It was
just
clean. It was clean. And, if you watch the play, there nothing happened. he just basically felt a little discomfort, didn't want to push through or, risk it. So he left the game, which is fine. It's better to be safe, I guess. He's going to miss at least a week, though. I think he's gonna miss a week because he's gonna be doing rehabilitation and stuff to strengthen the knee. So you're still gonna expect him out a week maybe, or a little more than a week. But that's better than 4 or 6 weeks or whatever.
For sure. We'll take that 1 week or even 2. I mean, if he needs 2 weeks, that's fine. More than that, we'll probably complain a bit. But yeah, Kevin Durant left today's game. 12 points, knee sprain, as they call it. We'll get an MRI tomorrow, so we'll see. A little more concern.
I'll put on my doctor hat. No, because as I said, I follow a sports doctor, who comments on injuries like this as they happen. And he said that it seems like it's more hyperextended. The knee of Durant, he looked at the replay, was more hyperextended than the knee of Anthony Davis when it happened. Just it's the same thing. Same thing happened. A player bumped into their knees. The same thing. The difference was AD was from the back and Durant was from the front, I think. From there. So he did say it's a sprain, but the MRI will determine if there's ligament damage or whatever. But knee sprains, for me, 4 weeks minimum. 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's what I see.
Yeah, we'll wait, and of course, with the Nets, they'll be probably more cautious with Durant, given that 4 weeks, and after that 4 weeks, in case it's indeed 4 weeks, after that 4 weeks, we're getting closer to the playoffs. We're getting closer to teams preparing for the playoffs. Getting their seedings ready. I mean, trying to battle for seeding. So we'll see where they are at that point. And given that one of the guys, we really haven't talked about him, Kyrie Irving returning. I don't know, but yeah, should be. I think he'll have a 4-game week next week.
Yes, he'll have a 4-game week next week. They have 4 games, four road games. They have 4 road games on week 14. They have 4 road games on week 16. So it's good timing, I guess, for the Nets. Even they can rest Durant during those weeks. So, but remember, there are road games that we're not sure if he can play. Washington is one, because there's a new state rule in Washington, but I'm not clear about that. Golden State, of course, New York Knicks, Toronto. So there are games there that even if it's a road game, he might not play. For Durant, I think if people are gonna ask who they should add, for now it's Kessler Edwards because he's
I've been looking at sometimes when I have the free time, I checked on some of the box scores, or even just browse through the players to add. Maybe someone hot was dropped or someone good was dropped, and I see some players like Dayron Sharp, Edwards, players you don't really know, right? Players that, who are these guys playing for the Nets? Because the Marcus is out. I think Nick Claxton has also been out. Now Durant is out. Of course, Kyrie is out. So a lot of unknown guys that you have to watch out for.
Although Dayron, I think it depends on LaMarcus. I already recommended LaMarcus a couple of days ago. I said pick him up if some people drop him, because
a lot of players drop him.
Yeah, if you have an ILs available, just stash him there. Remember, he was a top 120, top 115 player center. So LaMarcus is one player I would think would come back. For the wings, Kessler is a good rookie. He's a rookie, but he's good. And I'm not too sure if he's gonna continue being the starter. They might bring back James Johnson or maybe Brembry or Bruce Brown. But at the moment, right now, Kessler is the ad.
Yeah.
Then we'll see how it goes out.
And what are the other words that somehow is related to the word rookie when it comes to fantasy? Inconsistencies.
Inconsistent.
Yeah. You really don't know what you're gonna get here and there, so expect those things as well. But with this Durant thing, yeah, you were saying.
But remember Herbert Jones. I mean,
Yep. Well, yeah.
I mean, remember Herbert Jones.
Well,
Herbert
if you
Jones.
depends on the rookie, I guess. If he has that, because Herbert Jones is not known to score.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's where the inconsistencies are with a lot of the rookies, the scoring. But if you can do well on the other stats, like Herbert Jones does, especially on the defensive, on the stocks categories, yeah, you'll probably do good.
Yeah.
That's where, some of the guys, like players like Scottie Barnes maybe will not be very consistent in scoring, but if he can still rebound and, pass the ball, assist a few here and there, or maybe do some defenses, you'll probably take that you kind of should expect those kinds of things. If, the scoring won't be there, but if they can do the other things, that's where you really see if a rookie can do good or not, right? Yeah, and of course, the Harden would probably be the biggest beneficiary here.
For sure, yeah.
And, let's segue to the guy that, we've been debating on who to pick first, Steph Curry, who will be out tomorrow again.
So let's go to this is the worry part already. Even before Steph, was declared out, I'm pretty sure Jeremy has not been happy with what he's been doing lately.
Well, the last game was annoying, really. I messaged Jeff because I was against Jeff in one of the league and I had Steph, and he's been wanting Steph because he's a Golden State fan. Since I drafted Steph on the first day, maybe a few days after with the draft, he already asked about Steph if I want to trade him. Just annoying the last game.
19 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists.
Nothing. And yeah, was it 19?
Yeah, maybe we're talking about the other game. The other game was 12 points.
Yeah, the 12 points. The 12 points.
Yeah, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. And you know what's annoying for me is like media just keeping on, he's still the front runner for MVP. I don't understand how he's the front runner for MVP. Even in fantasy, he's not gonna be a top 2 or 3 by the end.
I can't even. Is he still number 1?
He is actually number.
I still can't believe why he's still number 1.
No, he's actually number 2, I think. Number 2.
Still,
let me see. No,
that was Durant.
Let's see. Season average and no, he's not. He's not number 1. He is number 4. He's number 4 based on per game. Per game, he's number 4. But on totals, of course, he's gonna go lower than that because he has missed couple of games.
So yeah, Steph is out tomorrow, and the timing couldn't be perfect because it's Judgment Day tomorrow, and if you guys are gonna rely on Steph for those 3 points or those scoring, I have a league wherein he's the only guy who was supposed to play. I've been up the whole week, and now it looks like I'm gonna lose that week. That matchup, yeah, but the more concerning part, though, is that he has a legit injury, which is a hand.
Yes.
Hand soreness. So something to, monitor, as I guess. It's not long term. I think it's more precautionary and all.
And the shooting, the slump is there. He's 42% for the year. It's really a shooting slump. No matter how Steve Kerr says that he's not going through a slump because he's the Steph Curry, he's still not. The numbers are saying otherwise. And one thing going against Steph Curry also is Steve Kerr. I mean, yeah, he's a good coach, but for us fantasy managers, he's not a good fantasy coach because he plays. He plays Damian Lee, Gary Payton, Kuminga. He plays everybody. And it's just really, it's the opposite of Utah or Phoenix maybe. With Utah and Phoenix, you do the rotation. But for Golden State, I just can't figure out, what they're doing.
In fairness to him, they haven't had Draymond has been out a few games.
Yeah.
I mean, Steph will be out. Clay's just gotten back to the rotation. So I think maybe he's trying to, mix things up a bit and with these players out. But with this news though, let's move back to fantasy. With this news though, I've seen a lot of Jordan Pools being dropped. Maybe for me, it's a little too early, I guess. Because if Steph would miss a few games here and there, Poole would be the guy.
You didn't know that beforehand, right? I mean,
yeah,
we
true.
didn't know that. But I have Poole in a lot of leagues, as you guys know. I haven't dropped him because I do the weekly schedule analyzer, and I know that next week they have a very good streaming week because next week there are three days where you have only 3 games or 2 games, and Golden State has 2 of those games. So that's the only reason I'm holding on to Poole. But after that week, if Steph is not hurt, it's hard to hold on to Jordan Poole. It's really hard. It just gives me at least 1 more week with Poole, but I'm prepared to move on.
Yeah. He's going to be an easy drop, especially if you're in a 12-team league. I mean, it's harder probably if it's in a 14-team, and definitely I don't think he'll be dropped in a 16 or an 18-team league. Still valuable there because, Clay hasn't really played well. That's one. Second, I think Clay would miss a few games here and there just to rest. So he'll still have some value. So in a very deep league,
And again, I'll just say what I just expound a little bit of the Steve Kerr thing. He's a good coach, and what he's doing is logical. It's correct, but for fantasy, it's just not helpful.
It's not fantasy friendly.
It's not helpful to us because Poole, even with Clay there, Poole can get 25 to 28 minutes. The problem why he cannot get those minutes is because Damian Lee, Choda, or maybe Gary Payton, they also get minutes. So that's the problem.
Just imagine, it's like Nick Nurse not playing Chris Boucher.
Yeah.
Right. It's fantasy wise, everyone's gonna clamor for Chris Boucher, but in the real basketball sense, maybe there's a reason not to play Chris Boucher, right? So yeah, there's that's one of the worries. Steph Curry. Other players were worried about. DeAnthony Melton has been bad. I mean, really bad. And I don't know how bad it could still get because Dillon Brooks is already out 3 to 5 weeks. So something we really haven't really talked about yet. But yeah, I initially thought Melton would be the guy benefiting, but seems like it's more of Brandon Clark. Tyus Jones have been benefiting a bit.
Actually, it's more of Zaire Williams. I did not expect Zaire Williams to start and get more minutes than even Kyle Anderson. My ad when Dillon Brooks went down was Kyle Anderson. And he started for a few games. And then after that, it became Zaire Williams. So that has been the
I think Melton last game got what? 10 minutes. Yeah.
10 minutes. And I think that's the worst it's going to go. He's going to get at least 10, 12, 13 minutes, something like that. And of course, it's a drop. It's an easy. If you want to hold on, if you can hold on, then hold on. But if your team is struggling already, don't fret it. Don't overthink. Just drop.
Yeah.
Just drop.
It's hard to for my case, it's hard to drop some of the Meltons because it's in a 18-team league.
Yeah.
You probably won't be able to get anyone anyway. So might just hold on. Scottie Barnes has been in and out of the lineup.
And struggling.
When he's playing. And I think this is where the early season concerns about his good plays, his good games are. Siakam has been playing well. Van Fleet has been playing well. OG has been so-so. I mean, not bad, but not the OG that started the season. So I think this is where, and Boucher, one of our feel-good players, is also playing well. So it affects Scottie Barnes now.
I guess we can talk about Boucher and Barnes together. Scottie, remember, Gary Trent is still out. And Gary Trent is about to come back. So when Gary Trent comes back, that's another player he has to deal with. So I don't know how the knee is really. There's knee pain there, so maybe that affects his performance. But he's not a scorer to begin with. He's not a good shooter to begin with. He needs multiple steals, multiple blocks, and maybe 6 or 7 assists to get there. But Siakam, one of my feel-good players today also, has been averaging 7 assists a game this January.
Yeah.
He has been
Siakam
on a
has
tear.
been good. I mean, he has been good.
So you know, the Barnes role has kind of been overshadowed in a way.
And another thing I noticed about Siakam this year is that the field goal has been relatively good.
Better, yes.
I mean, last year I think it was really bad when he's had some bad games. This year, even if he's had some bad games, he's not forcing it too much. Plus the peripheral stats, of course, the rebounding, the assists are always there.
He's at 48% this year.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's okay. I mean, if you guys say that's that good, he's a big man. That has been his problem ever since.
But he's a shooting big man.
Yeah. So that's good. And he's averaging, as I said, almost 23 and 10 this January. And then with 6 or 7 assists and then almost 2 steals. So those are good numbers.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why Scottie Barnes is a worry. But on the other side, Chris Boucher has gotten a role. Now, as I said, Nick Nurse has told him to just rebound. And Chris Boucher has taken it to heart. He said he's been watching Dennis Rodman videos and everything. So that's good. So now he's not taking 3-pointers. He's not trying to do too much. Just rebound. And of course, with Boucher, he'll get the steals and the blocks. It just comes with his length, his position where he is on the court. It will come. So if you not try to score a lot, he's gonna be helpful in fantasy. So
what do you do now with Scottie Barnes?
Try to trade him. I mean, I'm getting a lot of messages about people getting offered Scottie Barnes and they like Scottie Barnes. They said they want him. They feel that he's a good player. So I said, well, if that's what you think, then go ahead. Because
what do you think?
I have Scottie Barnes and I'm also trying to trade him not because he's not good. I believe he's good, but he needs an injury. He needs an injury to be Scottie Barnes again and
to be featured in
which
Toronto.
I'm not saying won't happen. It can happen, but I cannot rely on that.
Yeah.
I cannot rely on something that is uncertain. So I would rather trade him and maybe get somebody in return who can have value without depending on something happening. So I'm not saying Scottie Barnes will not get back to Scottie Barnes of before. Maybe he does if an injury happens, but that's maybes. There's a lot of maybes there. Trade him.
It's gonna be it's gonna be tough for him to get back at least in the near term.
Without an injury, yes.
Yeah, with the full lineup of Toronto. Even if he starts, I don't even know if he can still start at this point.
He starts. When he plays, he starts. But it doesn't matter when he starts. Yeah. Maybe that's even worse because Fred VanVleet and everybody will get all the usage, and what he can do is spot up and shoot, and he's not a good shooter.
Yeah.
So, right.
More big man in our worry, Mo Bamba and Daniel Gafford. Well, Bamba came back from injury.
Yes.
And I have a lot of Mo Bamba. Just a little more patient with him, saying, thinking that he just came back from the protocols and the injury back to back, I think. But Gafford though hasn't really had any injury, and also I think Gafford's value would probably be up and down or a roller coaster ride. I guess early on he was struggling as well.
I'll be honest, I don't know why he got 10 minutes today. I didn't watch the game. I haven't seen any injury.
Harold played well.
Yeah, I mean maybe that. So if he's not injured, then good. That's a good news. But 10 minutes. We do know that Tom Bryant came back.
Yeah.
And we know that Rui Hachimura is back.
Yeah.
There's Davis Bertans. Kyle Kuzma has been on a roll. I mean, he's been really good. 20-something and 12 rebounds this past 10 games. So there's just so many players in Washington. And it's tough.
And everyone can do, fantasy-wise, anyone can perform.
Yes.
I mean, there's value. There could be value in any of those players. Like, if Bertans, but it's just that it's not going to be on a consistent basis. Who's the most consistent guy there? If you look at it, who do you think will be the most? I mean, Gafford is probably be the only guy.
Are we talking about the centers only? The
No,
centers.
even the small forwards, like if you talk about Kuzma, Hachimura, Bertans, right? I mean, these guys. I mean,
I
Kuzma,
guess
how
it's
long can he sustain this?
maybe not as Kuzma is one of our sell highs. One of the players I've been keep telling people to sell high. But even if you don't sell him high, even if he drops down, I think he's still going to be better than any of the centers, the other players. Rui for one, I don't think he gets enough minutes. That's it. I don't think anybody else gets enough minutes. Kyle Kuzma's minutes for me is safe. He'll get 30 or more. He'll get 30 or more. The others, I feel, it's whoever is hot on any given day. And Jeremy's right. All of them have value. They can perform. Thomas Bryant, if he gets traded, I'll be interested in Thomas Bryant. If he
Yeah.
gets traded to a team that can give him 25 minutes a game, I'll be interested in Thomas Bryant. But now he's getting what? 10, 8,
Well,
12? So,
he just came back from injury,
but
but
still,
yeah, definitely, I don't see him getting a
yeah.
lot of minutes. If he gets 20 minutes even, that means that's not good news for Gafford or
Or
Harrell.
Harrell. Yeah.
Because that means they're sharing, and that 20 minutes is a lot already for a team with three centers who can be fantasy relevant.
And the Wizards are the same thing with the Warriors. They play everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Bertans would just be a DNP, but he's been playing every game, even with Bryant back.
Yeah, the reason I say why everyone can perform is if you look at the free agent pool, if you want to stream a player, you'll find guys like Hachimura, you'll find guys like
Avdiha.
Bertans, Avdiha, even some dropped KCP early on.
Yeah.
Even so these guys, these guys are available. And you'll be tempted, especially in a deeper league like a 16 team or even a 14, you'll be tempted to just stream them. Maybe they perform one game, right?
Yeah.
If you need threes, there's no one there. Bertans is there. But again, you'll have second thoughts because what if they don't play? I mean, I've had, times wherein I think, Hachimura is here. He might, perform or they might play him a little more. But yeah, you'll get tempted and then realize that what if he doesn't play, but overall he'll probably be better than the others who in the free agent pool given the minutes
in deep leagues, especially in deep leagues, except the minutes as you said.
It's just the minutes. I mean, there's not enough minutes to go
just
around.
Monitor the Wizard situation because injuries will happen, trades can happen, so the trade deadline is coming up, so let's monitor them and just be ready to add these players if they get traded or someone else gets traded.
Yeah, and the last forward players, Reggie Jackson. Well, for a scorer, again, like I said, scorers. What can you expect from scorers?
No, I have a take on Reggie Jackson. If you're not punting field goal, you drop him. If you can't trade him, you drop him. He will kill your field goals single-handedly. And if you're not punting, that's disastrous. He's 36, 37% on a lot of field goal attempts. And that is consistent. He's not a player who like 56%, 25%. He's just consistently 3 out of 10, 3 out of 12. It's bad. It's really bad. And he's outside top 150 already. Although, his numbers are, if you look at it, 3 to 4 assists, 16, 17 points. Those are okay. But if it's killing you in other categories and he doesn't get steals. So, for me, if you're not punting, you drop him.
Yeah, I don't own Reggie Jackson. Not really a player I like in fantasy. Ever since. So I'm staying away from Reggie Jackson. Buy players. Let's talk about Atlanta for a bit. Atlanta traded Cam Reddish. So that has some fantasy impact, but that lessens, I guess, the depth of Atlanta, at least in the wing position, with Porter now could be more relevant even when everyone's healthy. DeAndre Hunter came back. I think he also started, right?
Yes, he has started. The past 2 games, he has started.
So these are 2 players that you might want to watch out for because they've been available. I mean, Hunter is not as available as Huerter. Huerter's been dropped, in some leagues I've seen. Gallinari is available, but again, The problem I have with Gallinari is that the minutes aren't as good, although the production has been good, given the lesser minutes. But yeah, if you
Actually,
look at the minutes,
well, actually, lately, the past 3 games, he has had the most minutes among these guys.
so yeah.
Surprisingly, yeah. And Bogdan is out
Well,
again.
Bogdan is out again, yeah.
Bogdan is out again. So Gallinari is a must add, in my opinion.
He's actually the most available guy among the three.
Yes.
If you look at the waiver wire, he's always there. He's Gallinari.
Well, since we are late already with the news, with this, the others have been added, so we can just recommend you guys with Gallinari because I'm sure Hunter has been added. But if you want,
Hunter's been added. There's been some Huerter here because he hasn't had a good game. Today he hasn't had a good game. He had the 666 today, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be dropped after today.
But actually, I have Huerter over Hunter. I have Huerter over Hunter.
Me too.
That might surprise some people, but Huerter just can do
more things.
Yeah, can do more.
Facilitate. He can rebound and all this.
Hunter is a negative in rebounds, in assists. Those two. In the defensive stats, he can be a hit or miss. So he's basically just what? 3-point shooter. I mean, with some defense.
In 3-point in 3-point shooting, Huerter probably gets a little bit of an edge because he's a more natural 3-point shooter.
True. Yeah. It's different though.
I actually like Huerter. When Hunter was coming back, I really had second thoughts about adding him just because I feel like he won't be the Hunter that we saw last year. That's just Hunter, my hunch.
I added Hunter because I had no other choice. My team, I just really had no choice. Here's
what I've been doing the past few days. When especially for teams wherein I feel I'm okay, or at least all of the injured players have come back, and I have some open injured spots. I added players like Caruso in a 12-team league. I mean, he's about to come back. I added Kelly Olynyk.
He's about to come back.
So I've added some of these, players who are injured, especially if you have the luxury to do that. Not all teams, of course, I can do that, but in some teams wherein you have the luxury of adding some players and all your players have been come back from injury, then you might want to stash some of these players as well.
And that's a very good move. I would do that all the time, but sadly, none of my leagues have Caruso, Olynyk available.
I think most of these are in the 12-team leagues.
But even in the 12 teams, I don't have any Caruso or LaMarcus available. Even LaMarcus, or even Olynyk.
LaMarcus, I added LaMarcus in one.
The only player I was able to really see there was DeAndre Hunter. Yeah. So I gambled on him, just to see if what he can do. But the others, if you have those players that Jeremy is mentioning right now, all of those players are coming back soon. Olynyk is already doubtful for tomorrow's game. He's doubtful, so it means the next step there is questionable, and then he might play the next week. He might play already.
Yeah, and I think Caruso is close to returning, and with Lavine, probably out for a couple of weeks.
Caruso is on Thursday. The second game of the Bulls next week. He's coming back.
And with Lavine, who could miss a week or two, that might be beneficial because there's really no one there and Lonzo was out as well today. So Kobe White could be the guy, but again, Caruso has been good. Really, also might as well take a chance on him.
And the next guy that we probably will talk about is another player who I added, Jalen Suggs. He was still injured when I added him, and I really just have a hunch. I don't know if it's correct or not, but he will have a better second half. I'm not saying he will explode like Anthony Edwards, not like that, but he's gonna be relevant. I mean, he's gonna be worth rostering.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good first game
and second game today also.
Yeah,
he had a good second game today also.
I mean, except for the 6 turnovers, I think today he had less turnovers, so that's good. But the first game he had 6 turnovers, but overall, I think he had 12, 6 and 7, something like that.
12 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, I think, and 2 steals. Today he had 17, I think, and 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and I think a steal. I just see him as like a Marcus Smart, worse version. a poorer version of Marcus Smart because the field goal will be bad. I don't think it will improve this year. So that's one thing. I'm sure it will
And
be
the
bad.
turnovers could be bad as well.
Yes, could be bad.
I think we've kind of established that, those are some of the weaknesses in this game. And if you can accept that,
he
why
can
not?
be a KPJ that is free because you got him
if you have a, let's say, if you have a team wherein you have Gobert, you have Giannis, take a flyer on Suggs probably won't hurt you as much on the field goal part.
Or if you have KPJ or Russell,
or you're punting field goal,
punting
field goal. Because the counting stats could be good.
Could be good, yes.
Could be good, yeah.
Could be good.
As shown in the past two games. Other bye players, Bones Highland and Jackson Hayes, probably in deeper leagues. Highland has been hot again, so I mean, like any rookies, it's been a roll. It's gonna be a roll. And Jackson Hayes is another per minute center that you might want to take a flyer on.
3 straight
or watch.
3 straight good games for Hayes. Not a lot of minutes still, 16, 17, but he has been playing well in those 16 and 17 minutes.
Yeah.
So there.
Those are our bye players. Of course, we've missed talking about the bye players over the past few days, but obviously everything's there in the Facebook page. This is just a matter of more context and more discussion that we can talk about, and of course some things that we probably were not able to discuss on the Facebook page. Feel good, Darius Garland, definitely. I think he'll be an all-star this year.
He should be.
27 points, 18 today. I mean,
the last game was what, 32-12, something like that.
Yeah, he's been really good, really good. I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't as optimistic during the drafts. He was available in most of the drafts that were in, I could have taken him, but I wasn't really sure what I was going to get. Right? But if I only knew I'd get 12, 11, 13 assists per game, I'll definitely take that.
I very early in our preseason episode, I was already mentioning Darius Garland, and I think I forgot what episode that is. And I will admit though that if Colin Sexton or Ricky Rubio did not get injured, maybe he will not get to this level this year. Maybe it was.
No, I think he'll still be good.
Yeah, he'll still be good, but I think it was helped by the injuries also. But he's good. He's really good, and he has turned, the star turn. He's now a star.
With what happened with the injuries is that he probably won't get like chances to get 18, 16 assists per game. I mean, games like these would probably be very rare. The injuries just magnify or bloated the stats more.
And I've always lumped him with DeJounte Murray, and I always said that these two are now the new top
up and comers.
Not even up and comers anymore. They're now stars in fantasy, at least. They're now stars. They're now top 30 guys. And my point is, Murray has always been top 30 and didn't have to have any injuries. He's top 30. And Garland has always been in the 50, 60 range. Now he's top 30. And that's my point, that it has helped him with the injuries, has helped him move past. Now there's a debate. Do you want Murray or do you want Garland?
You want Murray, come on.
Before there was no, I mean, it's
who would you pick?
I would pick Murray. Yeah. But at least it's closer. Before, I will even say, no question, it's Murray over Garland. But right now, with everything that's happened, it's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question.
Yeah, I think he closed the gap, but he
closed.
I don't think you'll pick Garland. I doubt a lot of managers would pick Garland over Murray. But yeah, he closed the gap. Probably next year, he'll be, close there. If you missed out on Murray, you probably pick Garland. I mean, that's just going to be the case for in the next few seasons, especially if you need the assist. I mean, I like players who can do those types of things, like 10, 11 assists and per game. I mean, just to and if you can get them in the third, fourth round, that'd be a bonus. That's be a good pick already for me.
Next year would be a lot of point guards in the early rounds. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
Morant would probably get higher next year. Get back to the third round.
Let's talk about. I mean, we're talking about LaMelo. We're talking about Fred VanVleet. We're talking about Morant. We're talking about Haliburton. Right.
A lot of guards would probably be picked high. I mean, DeJounte picked what, fourth round this year. Move up another round, maybe. Move up to the third round. And then some of the centers you picked in the third round probably drop back a little. Players like who? A lot of centers were picked in the third round, right? I mean,
I think centers and PGs will dominate the early rounds next year.
Yeah, so you have to plan ahead. All right. Other feel-good players, Covington has been good. Really good. I mean, the Covington that we always wanted with the stocks.
Come on, don't say that. You never believed in Covington.
No. I mean, I don't, I only pick Covington when he's been dropped and, it's a shallow league. It's a deep league.
I can't believe Jeremy said that with a straight face. The Covington that we always love.
I mean, I'm speaking for everyone who, all the fantasy managers. Me, I'm not a big fan, really. Still.
No, but Covington, when he's hot, he's hot.
Yeah.
When he's good, he's good. But when he's bad, he's bad.
He's gonna get good stretches like these, and I think he also benefits a bit with the Dame Lillard. A lot of players in Portland could benefit here and there. I mean, Nasir Little has benefited a lot already without Lillard. We'll see what happens when CJ comes back.
And Nance is out also.
Yeah, Nance is out. So another guy who's been dropped that I've been trying to pick up in some leagues because he's been, he's close to returning. So he'll probably be returning anytime soon and could benefit as well. So yeah, those are our feel-good guys. We talked about Boucher, Barrett. We haven't really talked much about, but I'm not sure if Barrett's in the feel-good for good, but yeah.
Three straight games, and actually the whole January he's been in the feel-good. So you guys know I don't like Barrett's fantasy game, but he's young. He's not even 21. So, sometimes it takes time for players. Maybe like Anthony Edwards last year, maybe this is the time for Barrett to, step up and become somebody else. But for me, the holes are still there. He doesn't get steals. There's still some problems with this game, but 24 points, 48% shooting, 50% three-point shooting. He's on fire.
Yeah. Trade him. That's the cue. That's the cue, guys.
Somebody you might get for Barrett is Norman Powell, who's out with COVID protocols.
Of course, if RJ Barrett is one of our not so favorite guys in fantasy, Norm Powell is probably one of our favorite trade targets. In fantasy this season.
I think that's a good deal.
Actually, we haven't really talked about Norm Powell, but another player who could benefit a lot with the Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
But the field goal might not be as good anymore with Norm Powell because he's been known for a better field goal. Anyway, that's it for our daily fantasy quickie. It's nice to be back to the daily grind. We'll get back to our daily grind starting today. It's a longer quickie today, but just to try to make up for the 2 weeks that we've lost, right? And it's nice to be back here and recording and talking about fantasy. So with that, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, guys. Bye.